Drop your daggers and grab your dirt. Earth takes down Assassin in this round 1 of the May AG Open. My name is Bryce Platts, and I'm here with Michael, Swinger of Hammers Murray, and we are ready for more high-octane action. But first, we got a metagame analysis for you, folks. We've got, oh my goodness, is Fang the most represented deck in this pool?
Cool.
Come on now. 4 Fang, 3 Mario, and 3 Florian round out the most represented decks here. There are 3 new, but producer Justin has relegated her to the side slot because she is not long for this world, is she?
No. Those MST heroes, they zoomed through this.
Yeah, speed running the LL leaderboard are all the MST heroes. But we've got other interesting things in the room today. We got 2 Riptide, of course. There's always going to be one because Talon Stradley is a player at AGE. I don't actually know who the second Riptide player is.
I don't either.
Because Anthony Pham is our one of Jarl in the room. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, Brian Gutierrez is not on Jarl?
No, I think he's on Florian.
That's absurd. Okay, all right. The regulars are really shifting things around here for us.
Yep.
2 Dorinthia in the room as well.
Oh,
We've
cool.
got very consistent Dorinthia players here at Arcane Games and Events. 2 Kanos, which hit 2 of those 4 Fangs in round 1 and took them out. That is incredibly unfortunate gem matchmaking. I also saw that our 2 Victors were facing off in a mirror match round 1.
Yeah, wow.
2 Verdants. We do only have the 1 Katsu. I did happen to run into Fuzzy Delp, who is a preeminent ninja player. He said, no, it's not Katsu today. I had too much work to get through this week. I couldn't put together a list after the BNR, so it's going to be something else until I can get that sorted.
Yeah, and seeing a Reinar as well, nice little spread.
Yeah, it was posited that Reinar was going to be like the perfect answer to all these slower Florian lists. But with the Scepter of Pain ban, it makes me wonder if Reinar is the pick here.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not like Florian's fast now, so maybe
True.
still kind of okay. But, man, the D-React heavy list would have just been breakfast for Reinar.
Without a doubt. So our next match, folks, is going to be between Colin, the boy wonder Eriksen, who happens to be at the top of the AGE leaderboard at the moment. We have a player profile for him. And Colin would love to get rid of mayonnaise on burgers forever for everyone if he possibly could. How do you feel? Are you a mayonnaise on burgers guy?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Love it. Yep. Mayonnaise instead of ketchup for French fries.
You can't be serious.
I'm 100% serious. I mean, you can hit me with the Chipotle mayo, and I'll do that over it. But, yeah.
Michael, I don't know if I can sit next to you for the rest of this day.
We've discovered a few key differences in the way that we do things recently. And
what was the other one?
I can't talk about it.
Okay. That is not
Justin knows.
That is not okay for a family show like AGE. Okay, what else have we got for Colin? He would have been a professional Legends of Runeterra player had that game not gone the way of the birds. But we do have a League of Legends card game coming out, physical card game coming out soon, I think.
I didn't know about that.
I know nothing about it except for the fact that it is going to exist. Whether it's going to be as good as Legends of Runeterra remains to be seen, because that was a massively good game.
Yeah.
Looks like Colin does also like to make fatigue decks if he can, and Kassai, his namesake hero, which he is on today, is no different. We have seen that man probably gain upwards of 20-some-odd points of life with Heart of Fiendal on stream alone.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. About his fatigue decks, I do have a funny anecdote about one of the brews he cooked up. It was a galvanized -IO utilizing High Striker to make a bunch of copper to then galvanize and block out. And funnily enough, I think with the new advent of Puffin, we can start to use that galvanize mechanic in a less homebrewy kind of way. But
slap some grinding gears in there and sign me up.
I have 1 copy of High Striker in one of my Puffin lists because of him. He was the original author of that kind of piece of tech, and I think there's maybe something to be explored there. 6 copper and it just sits there, and you just galvanize each one at a time. You don't need to give up any cogs.
It is without a doubt that Colin is one of the most unique and amazing deck builders in this game. So let's stop talking about it. Let's be about it. Let's head on down to the match floor and see what he's got cooking today. Even though he loves to tango with weird builds all the time, he nevertheless sends Kassai of the Golden Stand pretty much every time he is in this room.
Yeah.
And today is no different.
Yeah, he is definitely known at this point to the world as one of the premier Kassai players. And I always love watching him and casting him. He's just such a meticulous player and someone who I feel like I learn from every time I watch him play.
Yeah, and I learn from him personally every time I play against him. He's one of those guys that you can always depend on to have the exact answer at the worst possible time for you. So he's really good at teaching you all of the things that you really need to be playing around and thinking about when you are constructing an offensive turn. Because Colin is a wall when it comes to defense.
Yeah, he really plays into the defensive side of Kassai better than I think most players. So,
speaking of a wall, he's got a wall on his head. It's Kabuto of Imperial Authority, which is going to be sitting around against Cindra all game long just saying, I dare you to send Wrath of Retribution.
Yeah.
So it looks like Colin is just doing a little bit of filtering. He activates Iron Song versus, and then Arsenal passes. He pitches away a pretty critical card for Kassai as well. It was a red Blade Runner that made its way to the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, just setting up that pitch stack early.
So it's back over to Travis. No damage conferred on turn 0 here, and it's one of many head jabs to lead it off. It is Brand with Cinder Claw, which means that the next attack that Travis throws Colin's way is going to be Draconic. Can he find a payoff for it, though?
Yeah, leading the chain with that makes me think it's probably just a 0 for 3 unless he's planning on pitching something and then arsenaling the last card. But we'll have to wait as Travis tanks a little bit.
Let's see what Travis is working with. It is a Hot on Their Heels, which is already Draconic, so a little bit redundant there. But this is 3 now go again because he has 2 or more Draconic Chain Links and Mark on hit, which Cindra definitely utilizes those fealty tokens incredibly well if she's able to generate them. She doesn't need nearly as many as her counterpart Fang, but she can definitely put forth some nasty damage if she's able to make them.
Yep, and Colin proving us right, blocking out the first 2 attacks. Still no damage going through as the That All You Got gets played. It doesn't have its text active because that attack is coming in for 3. That All You Got looks for 2, but it is still a nice block nonetheless.
Probably a finish up of this combat chain for Travis. I think that last card is destined for the Arsenal because March of Loyalty is the attack here. And Colin posturing exactly like he does when he has the defensive capabilities that he needs, slamming down that Shelter from the Storm, shoring up all that damage. Travis does, however, flick a dagger to sneak First Blood onto his opponent because he's going to be able to buy those daggers back for free.
Yep, and finally, a little bit of blood, a drop of blood comes through as Colin goes at 39.
A drop, not a drove. 39 plays 40 in the favor of Travis Wagner, but Colin Eriksen has something to say about it. You painstakingly set up that card in Arsenal, Travis, so here comes a Command and Conquer, one of the best 2-card plays in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, and Ninja particularly weak against it. A lot of 2-card blocks in the deck, so hopefully for Travis's sake, he's got 2-3 blocks that he can put
I'm not
towards it.
seeing it, Michael. That is a plethora of 2 blocks if I have ever seen them.
Mm-hmm. So really, really nice start for the game for Colin. Just having all the answers, just like you said.
And Colin was not even forced to commit those Valiant Dynamos, which is fantastic because he wouldn't be refreshing them here anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So Travis making the unfortunate but probably correct decision to just take all of that damage, descend on down to 34, and get that Ravenous Rabble that was set up in Arsenal blown up.
Yep, and really nice clapback from Colin. No Arsenal this time, so a little bit weaker on the defensive end as we know there's no defense reactions.
Rising Resentment is the first attack for Travis here, blocked out by Blood on Our Hands immediately by Colin Eriksen.
Yeah,
Both players having a laugh here as they navigate the extra responsibilities of being a streamed match.
I thought they were the same.
Colin always likes to gab with you while you're playing against him.
He does.
When you're ramming your head against the table trying to figure out how to beat him, he's always got a joke locked and loaded.
Yeah, he does. And I don't know if it's tactical or not, but for some reason, every time I play against him, I make some kind of game-losing mistake. And they're not always huge mistakes, but they're game-losing mistakes. And it's one of those things that, like, I don't know if maybe I'm making those mistakes in every game, but it's just Colin that's so consistent that it always feels like he's the one I make them against. But, man.
Dagger flick on the first combat chain here, which means that one combat chain has hit, but Colin says, I want nothing to do with that Mask of Momentum. Run through, blocks out that Brand with Cinderclaw. Pain in the backside is going to be Draconic, but blocked out by a Slice and Dice from Colin Eriksen. Looks like these players are just trading cards this way and that. Every time you have a head jab, I have a head jab on defense.
Yeah. Oh, getting that lapel clipped on, so we get a little bit better audio there.
Definitely want to make sure that we hear all of this gab going back and forth as these players trade cards and friendly jabs back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes both ways.
Players talking about the both ways in which Flesh and Blood can be played, and also both ways in which those mics on their heads can be mounted. Because that pain in the backside was turned draconic by Brand with Cinderclaw, Travis is able to buy back that flicked dagger for free, set up yet another arsenal, and hope for not another CNC. Colin just draws back up and passes. 34 plays 38 in the favor of Colin Eriksen here.
And I love that patient play from Colin, just arsenal pass. No need to rush things. All you need to do is make sure that Cindra isn't popping off in your face.
It does. Travis has not seen a single blue yet, which is either an unfortunate bit of luck or indicative of the fact that he might still be on that red line Cindra list that was popularized by Yuki Lee Bender and Brody Spurlock at the beginning of the hunted meta. It remains to be seen, but I definitely am more inclined to pick up that more blue line spreading flame Cindra nowadays. Just leaking through so much chip damage. I think people have really learned how to block out these Mask of Momentum triggers and be a little less scared by them.
Yeah. And so here we actually see Colin saying no blocks on the first attack, implying that he kind of is happy with the offensive side of his hand. Travis playing the Ancestral Empowerment, drawing a card. One chain link is hit.
Which is a curious choice here, because usually you want that Ancestral Harmony to kind of force through a Mask of Momentum trigger. In this case, just like becoming a net neutral kind of cantrip with +1.
Yeah, unbricking is probably what I am thinking here.
So 1 on the Kunai of Retribution here. Valiant Dynamo devoted to the block for the first time this game, and Travis has yet another Ignite. So he's going to be able to go super wide here, probably threaten another Mask of Momentum trigger, despite the way that Colin blocks here.
Yeah, and I am seeing some of those draconic fealty payoffs without any fealties on the board yet. So Travis maybe a little bit bricked up or planning to arsenal them.
Also, go again deficient. We've got a Lava Burst plus a Dragon, plus a Hunt the Hunter, plus a Art of the Dragon Blood with no fealty tokens. So Travis may very well be a little bit too bricked up in order to resolve every single card here. One of those reds might go the way of the pitch zone to pay for a Kunai of Retribution, just to make sure that we get all of the value we possibly can.
Yeah, that makes sense. It could, yeah.
With the discount, this is for 5. We've played a red card, so I will mark you.
Okay. Opting instead just to get that mark on the field.
No blocks.
Very curious here, because as it stands, Travis is going to have to IP one of these cards, which you really don't want to do because neither of them have go again.
Well, it could be a boots activation, losing some value on the blocking end, but with Colin not really sending anything.
Colin is marked. Sink below is the reaction to cover up 4 of this damage from Hunt the Hunter, which does mean that, yes, Colin takes 1 damage down to 32. Travis gets his first fealty token of the game, perhaps hoping that that would be the case. No, it is an activation of Dragon Scalar Flight Path.
Put him here, I guess. So make that.
So go again conferred on Hunt the Hunter.
Now that he has that fealty, I can see the rationale, because he's going to be presenting that
Lava Burst.
that break point.
Also 5.
Yeah, Lava Burst is going to come in. I think he's going to save that Art of the Dragon Blood for next turn, because it's automatically going to get go again from the fealty when he cracks it, probably at the beginning of the next turn, and then he might get more payoffs by discounting further chain links down the line.
Yeah, interestingly, the Mask of Momentum is online here. Of course, not helping in any sense, because Travis already has that card in hand and no go again on the Lava Burst. But
Colin sniffs that out.
yeah,
We will buy back our daggers with Cindra. Cool.
Okay. Dagger comes back from the graveyard, back to Cindra's hand at the ready for another turn. And yes, Travis is not able to make use of that Mask of Momentum trigger. Colin very astutely noticing that that was the case, and allowing his enemy to draw up.
Yeah, keeping a 3-card hand and really not taking a lot of damage on the back of what was a pretty explosive turn. Using those boots is one of the tools that Cindra has to push a ton of damage, and now those are off the table for the rest of the game.
Looks like it's the first real offensive swing from Colin Eriksen, and it's going to be 2 Outland skirmishes plus a Kassai activation into Centauri Saber. He is out of cards at this point, so Travis knows that there is not going to be any go again here. No refresh of the Valiant Dynamos, but 2 copper tokens are threatened and a gold token on this swing, which means that blood on our hands is going to loom large. And at this point, I want to draw our attention to the chest slot of Colin Eriksen. He's got the Courage of Bladehold, which is always his choice when going into an aggro opponent. That because at any point, he's able to keep simply a 1-card hand of blood on our hands with 4 copper, activate Courage of Bladehold, and swing out for, I don't know, it's like 10 or something.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage for 1 card and can be the difference maker in a game where your opponent's really not wanting to block.
It has been Colin Eriksen up until this point who is doing all of the blocking. Right now, a lot of damage conferred onto Travis Wagner's life total. He descends on down to 26, which means that Colin not only has a 4-life surplus, but also 2 copper tokens and a gold for his trouble.
That being said, Colin will draw up to 4 cards, staring down the barrel of Travis's 5. So once again, Travis will have an opportunity to do something very explosive and kind of come back a bit.
But not a bad 3-card retort when you were very red-locked in the for Colin Eriksen.
Absolutely.
Looks like Travis is looking to start off with the fealty pop and the Art of the Dragon Blood. He did find a payoff for Art of the Dragon Blood. It's Demonstrate Devotion, which is normally a 1-cost, but once you've played Art of the Dragon Blood and it is Draconic, that's going to discount your next 3 Draconic cards by 1.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid card to draw here.
Which, of course, just like Ignite, can be utilized on the daggers, Kunai of Retribution. So Travis is going to get a lot of free damage here, and we still have not found a blue, which makes me think that he is still on this Redline Cindra.
Yeah, I think so too, especially seeing cards like Ignite and Art of the Dragon Blood to help with that cost curve.
So Travis's 1 fealty token, all of his loyalty to the Emperor goes into this attack, Art of the Dragon Blood, which confers the Draconic keyword to it. Colin Eriksen is just taking a lot of damage here. 7 so far as he descends on down to 23. All of a sudden, Travis has a bit of a life lead and a lot of damage still left to send Colin's way.
I do wonder, I suppose Colin wants to save that helmet for the card you mentioned earlier, but I am anticipating the potential for 2 kunais to come through.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Demonstrate Devotion is going to create a fealty because Travis has more than 1 Draconic chain link. This turn, 2 equipment blocks are devoted to the combat chain, and also the Mask of Momentum trigger that could come through. Travis Wagner does go ahead and flick a Kunai of Retribution to make sure that that mask stays live for the next chain link. That being said, he doesn't have any attack reactions, so as long as Colin blocks out efficiently, he's going to be able to prevent this draw. March of Loyalty now comes down. Travis has created a fealty token, so March of Loyalty is going to have Go Again. For Go Again, Colin devotes 2 cards to prevent that Mask of Momentum. Travis says, all right, you're losing a little bit of efficiency on defense, but I'm not drawing my card. So
Ooh,
there
snatch.
it is.
That's
and
a
snatch.
nice way to end the chain.
It is important to mention that Travis did not make use of the kunai swings off of Art of the Dragon Blood. I really think that that is a legal play.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my favorite generics. It's so good, man.
He flicked one of them, and now one's just kind of sitting on the table.
Yeah. I would think that you would really want to go down to 1 dagger here just to chip 2 more points of damage in.
Yeah, it seems like a good use. Perhaps valuing the breakpoints.
Oh, you know what? It doesn't discount it because Ignite says play or activate. That's the keyword.
Got it. That clears it up.
So Travis playing perfectly and commentators commentating lacklusterly. Is there a tale more true?
And I think that was a really good turn for Travis, kind of swinging things back in his favor as Colin goes down to 18 with just a couple cards in hand to work with.
I think Colin popped his gold to draw a card and also a copper token, really not liking the hand that he's working with, which is interesting to me because he did take a ridiculous amount of damage there.
You'd sort of think he'd just go ahead and fold the hand, but opting instead to play it like this.
So it is 2 blue cards in the pitch. He does have free swords for the rest of the turn. A Kassai activation and an unsheathed means that this Centauri Saber is 5 go again on hit, create a gold.
Yeah.
Travis in the tank here. He does have a massive life lead, though. This is usually where Cindra is so happy to be.
Yeah, I'm feeling a no blocks. But of course, if he has a clunker, you still want to get the value you can.
It looks like he's doing all right. I see a plethora of head jabs, one that's especially good in Blaze Headlong, and also an Ancestral Harmony, which means that he could finally force through that first Mask of Momentum trigger of the game.
Yeah, so Colin refreshing that gold with the hero power and just sending another 2.
I think Travis also forgot to buy back his dagger.
Oh, you might be right.
Because he only flicked the 1, so he should have been able to get it back. That could spell doom. Granted, a lot of these red line Cindra turns don't really hinge on actually swinging the daggers, unless, of course, you draw like Wrath of Retribution. So it could be a moot point, but definitely one you want to keep your eye on. Life totals are getting ever closer. 18 plays 19 in the favor of Travis Wagner, who's leading off with a Fire Tenet strike first. 3 go again. Next Draconic attack this turn gets +1.
Powerful card. 0 for 4. Colin looks like he said no blocks.
Already descended down to 15, so it's a lock. Rising Resentment is the follow-up here. Should be coming in for 4. Travis adjusts the numbers there. Colin immediately snap blocks with a card plus Valiant Dynamos to shore it up. Travis thinking yes about the Ancestral Empowerment here means that this 1 is going to leak through, and the next attack this turn is going to be threatening Mask of Momentum. This is exactly the use case for Ancestral Empowerment in this deck.
Yeah, super, super useful to keep those chains going when you're running that Mask of Momentum. And if he can present another breakpoint, that will force Colin into another awkward blocking situation where he might have to overblock.
It does not look like Colin Eriksen has a defense reaction unless it is lurking in the arsenal. No, it's a slice and dice plus the last block on his Iron Song versus, which is also going to destroy that equipment when the combat chain closes. Travis now has full agency to flick one of those daggers and threaten Mask of Momentum once again.
Right, you are. And this is getting a little bit scary for Colin. I think he has a little less life to work with than he would like in this position and sort of has yet to have an opportunity to have tempo in his favor. Of course, blocking efficiently is the name of the game into Ninja, but you do need to be able to present damage on the backswing if you want to close the game out.
Yeah, besides that Command and Conquer, he's pretty much only been able to send like 1 sword swings and often pitching reds in order to do it, except for the last turn, which was not efficient either because we're popping gold and copper in order to get there.
Right, yeah, pretty inefficient rather, offensive turns on the side of Colin, which does make me wonder why he's not blocking more. But certainly he's got the answer to that in the way that he understands his hands.
Interesting. Travis pops a fealty token in order to make this Snatch Draconic. I wonder what that... Is that simply... That might simply be to be able to buy his daggers back. Because now he has 3 Draconic attacks.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So Travis is drawing 2 cards. It is the second Mask of Momentum trigger this game, but also the second benign one. He's simply not able to utilize the cards drawn off of either Snatch or Mask of Momentum here.
So Colin actually making out pretty darn well, all things considered, with the inability to block the last attack there efficiently.
But Travis continues to chip away, and Colin has found the 2-card answer. It's Command and Conquer once again. You want to keep protecting that card in Arsenal there, Travis? It makes me think it's kind of juicy. 12 plays 19 and 6 damage. No D-reacts on the board.
Yeah, Command and Conquer is one of those cards into Ninja that is just so good due to that low block value on the bottom right hand of their cards.
Looks like we got a whole lot of head jabs, which means a whole lot of 2 blocks on the side of Travis Wagner, and he's taken the second CNC straight to the face once again. And let's see what the card is. It's another Snatch, the 3rd copy in the deck. No more Snatches to be had.
There's that Heart of Fiendal we were talking about earlier in Colin's hand.
Okay. I don't think he's going to get more than one value this game, but...
Sometimes. Fair.
Okay, it's a Ronin Renegade, which is a primo Draconic starter here. Display Loyalty for yet another fealty token. Burning Blade Dance for a free flick and a Ravenous Rabble to round it out. This is a pretty bread and butter Cindra play right here. Ronin Renegade to start it off, 3 go again, Draconic.
I'll block 3.
Colin Eriksen blocking 3 for the 50,000th time this turn, or this game.
Yeah. A little bit worried about his lack of copper. You mentioned his chess piece earlier. That seems to be the way that he'll get back into the game, and so far he hasn't had really any copper generation, and the lower he gets, the harder it will be for him to connect with those attacks.
And that's the second blood on our hands we've seen this game, and it's devoted to the combat chain to block out that Burning Blade Dance out of Travis Wagner. So no free flick to be seen here.
Do a flick knives here for 1.
He will utilize the once per turn attack reaction on his arm piece to send one of the daggers at Colin's face, conferring 1 damage and sending that dagger to the graveyard.
Okay.
How will Travis follow up here? It's either Ravenous Rabble or Display Loyalty. Looks like it is the Display Loyalty. Yet another head jab. 3 go again. Create a fealty token.
Nice to have at least one of those online for the payoff cards that are to come.
Colin says no blocks here. He does have a Heart of Fiendal in hand, spotted by my co-caster, which means that he's kind of forced to make a 2-card play here.
It's a red card, March of Loyalty.
Okay, so the confidence in it being a red card proves a little bit further that he's not on the blue list.
Yes, I think he's very much on the red line list. Colin forced to block with a Spoils of War. That was probably one of the ways in which he's going to get the copper he needs in order to make a Blood on Our Hands turn. Not only that, he blocks with the Courage of Bladehold, saying this is just not the game for that combo piece.
I almost wonder if maybe you give up the headpiece there. It's not like it gets a lot of value into Cindra.
Yeah, I think he's thinking that he could totally get blown out by a Wrath of Retribution turn.
Okay.
And so you've got to keep that headpiece around until the last possible moment.
Fair enough.
Right now, it's just pop a gold token, activate Kassai, and send a free sword.
Yeah.
Sending the hot streak first, hoping that Travis respects this Kassai activation and blocks with what is almost assuredly going to be an attack from his hand and give this sword go again. And yeah, it's all attacks in the hand of Travis Wagner.
We're going to say no blocks.
Yeah, no blocks is the choice here. Colin does have a follow-up. It's Blade Runner, unfortunately, just in the blue. But because his swords are free, he is going to be able to convert the entirety of this hand.
Take 2, yep.
Yeah, and the nice thing about that is it will allow him to refresh Dynamos at least, so he's getting a little bit of defensive value out of this, which he really needs. And I will point out that we're at life parity if Travis says no blocks, so Colin doing an absolutely great job of sort of working with what he's got so far and keeping things even though he has not really been able to line his cards up the way that he would like to, getting that copper online and enabling the Blood on Our Hands play.
3 damage comes through to Travis Wagner. 9 plays 8. Colin has finally found himself a life lead, albeit 1 in this game. And the last copy of Blood on Our Hands is in the hand of Colin Eriksen. Probably just going to be a 3 block in this game. But as long as the life totals are dwindling together, this is where Colin Eriksen is comfortable. He can grind out a game with the best of them. And it's because his gem buddy is Charles Dunn, the scrappiest player of all.
Ooh. Oath of Loyalty to start is tough. Those breakpoints, especially at this low life total. But of course, Colin's got the sync below to answer, so
he's always got it.
Nice response there.
He's always got it. The card drawn there is a Trot Along. I didn't see which one he tucked to the bottom of the deck. Perhaps it's that Blood on Our Hands to make sure that he's got it for late game. Yes, it was the Blood on Our Hands. So it's a 3 block here. Colin is very deficient in Go Again in this hand, so I would have to imagine it's going to be almost assuredly a full block on his side of the board and hope that Travis doesn't draw up anything juicy on the next turn. Right now, Provoke blocks out a Burning Blade Dance, so that's 2 chain links wide so far, and Travis is in the tank on how to continue this turn.
Yeah, I wonder if he's thinking about not flicking his daggers here. Or does it need to hit in order to flick them?
Nothing needs to hit in order to flick them.
From the Burning Blade Dance?
Yes, it does need to hit in order to flick them. So the Flick Knives is going to flick the left-handed dagger of Travis Wagner. 1 damage comes through. We're at life parity, 8-8. And Travis has to continue this turn, and he can only play Draconic cards.
And while the blocking has been super clean from Colin, one thing that he cannot block is that Flick Knife. So Travis does have some sense of inevitability with the with that damage there. Of course, it would take 8 more turns at the rate he's doing it, but it is something that can help a lot to prevent being completely fatigued out in this matchup.
The way Colin Eriksen plays, it is entirely possible that we have 8 turns left to play here. And yeah, March of Loyalty is the finish up here. Colin is probably going to cover it up. Oh, not with a card in Dynamos, just Dynamos, which means that Colin descends on down to 5. We are getting ever closer to the dregs of the Boy Wonders life total. So passing back over to Colin, Travis has not established an arsenal here. 5 plays 8 in the favor of our Draconic Ninja. Looks like Colin is just cashing in a gold for free swords. I think this is the real game plan of his Kassai deck. He wants to play 1 card hands rather than 2 or 3.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think I saw a D-React that he just drew, which it doesn't help him offensively here. And of course, I only peeked it, so it could be wrong. But if that is in fact a D-React, it could help him swing tempo back in his favor. That in Arsenal is a huge deal at this point in the game.
Unfortunately, yellow card deficient in the graveyard is Colin Eriksen, so no activation of Kassai here. So unfortunately, not able to find like a buff or a Blade Runner in this case in order to maximize the value on offense. So Travis is keen to just take 2 there and continue throwing 4-card hands.
Yeah, but that all you got in hand, plus what I think was either a Fate Foreseen or a Sink Below in Arsenal. Oh, and the perfect time. So he has a blue card in his deck after all the Warmonger's Diplomacy coming through.
And Travis astutely swinging with the dagger first to play around that Kabuto and prevent Colin from getting maximum value from blocking with it.
No reactions from me. Anything from you?
No reactions here. Colin deploys the That All You Got immediately on this dagger, saying blocking 1 with this card is enough as long as I can replace it.
Yeah, it's nice to just kind of make that not hit and make the Mask of Momentum that much harder to connect.
Colin takes 1 from the second Kunai of Retribution. Travis uses all of the resources on this blue pitch very well. It came up at the perfect time.
Yeah, I was just about to comment that he hasn't used his chess piece yet, but there it is, getting an extra resource. And Cindra with resources is scary because those cards that cost, those are breakpoints.
Yeah, and this first one is probably going to be Demonstrate Devotion coming in at 4 go again. It's looking really scary for Colin at this juncture.
Yeah. Hoping for his sake that I was right about that defense reaction in Arsenal.
Travis also has a Hunt the Hunter, which is going to come in for a breakpoint, but at 5 instead. Hot on their heels coming in, threatening a mark here on this 3rd Draconic Chain Link. Colin blocks with an Emboldened Blade, covering that up nicely, but Travis has a flick to talk about here. Colin takes 1 damage, descends on down to 3. It is getting scary here, folks. 2 resources left in the pitch for Travis Wagner. He's already activated his blood-soaked vest, blood-splattered vest, which means that Colin knows there's a lot more pain coming his way. Demonstrate Devotion comes in for 4 go again and creates a fealty token. No blocks, says Colin Eriksen, which means there's got to be that defense reaction in Arsenal, and it is a Fate Foreseen.
Maybe he doesn't have it this time. Maybe I don't. But nah, he's got it. He's got it.
He always has it, Travis.
Colin, he's always got it, the Boy Wonder Eriksen. You can't stump Colin. But I don't know. Travis looks like he's pretty close to doing just that.
Yeah. What's the last card in his hand there?
Travis's hand?
Yeah.
It's Hunt the Hunter, which means that he's got 5 more damage and a mark to confer on this turn.
This might be 1 card block and commit that helmet.
Maybe.
Because if he can stop the mask trigger, I guess the mask is not being threatened, but basically he's at 3 life, so he definitely needs to do something about this, whether it's 2 cards from hand or 1 card from hand and the mask. That's up to Colin to decide. But either way, he will draw a card at the end of this turn thanks to the That All You Got.
And there it is. Blade Runner plus the Kabuto committed here. Colin only holds on to a blue, which means that he's probably really hoping to draw some gas off of the That All You Got.
Yep.
He was able to opt with Fate Foreseen, which is a perfect
Did he leave it on
here.
top?
I think he did.
Okay, so this is actually a really nice setup for Colin.
There it is, Blade Flurry, which is
No go
Interesting.
again.
No go again currently. He is going to activate Kassai, however. Perhaps just trying to set
If
the
he
Blade
can-
Flurry up in Arsenal for a future kill turn.
If he can bait a block, that could be huge.
Yeah, I think Travis is too good of a player to get encouraged to block the way the previous turn played out.
And Colin's thinking, because he knows that too, would really like to end the game right here, right now. But without go again in his hand, he doesn't have a lot of recourse.
Colin's stuck in the quicksand, looking to the skies, to the deities above for inspiration. Travis confirming that we're not waiting on him. Colin is the one in the tank, as it were. Thumbing through the graveyard of Travis Wagner here.
What was the blue in his hand?
Provoke.
Provoke, okay.
Something that won't convert. Something that is definitely just going to be a blue, you know? So it is possible I missed the what he actually did with the Fate Foreseen there, because I don't think Colin would have left Blade Flurry in his hand or on top of the deck if he knew he was going to draw it off of that all you got. Could be wrong about that. But it is true that if he's able to bait Travis into blocking this hot streak with an attack, then he is going to be threatening lethal. Travis says, nope, it's just going to be Mask of Momentum here, which means that Colin is kind of forced to throw that Blade Flurry because he has activated Kassai this turn.
Yeah.
And I think Colin is still fine with this because it allows him to do the whole one-card hand thing that is clearly his game plan into Cindra.
The question is, can he keep a one-card hand?
Well, we got to start with this one.
He's got one thing going with him, one thing going for him, and that's that Travis does not have an arsenal. Colin has been very diligent about denying the arsenal from that Mask of Momentum whenever possible. Oath of Loyalty comes forth as the first attack action for Travis Wagner. 1 damage is going to leak through over the top of that 3-block run-through from Colin Eriksen. Travis has a blue in hand, which is not one he's going to want to play, but in this case, he's basically going to get 1 free damage if he pitches it. He is, however, only 1 dagger in the arm slot.
Yeah, he would really like to have both daggers in this type of situation. Colin sitting at 2 life, 2 dagger swings could just spell the end of the game. So hard to block those out.
Travis really thinking about how to close this game out. This might be the last turn, folks. He's got a lava burst, though, and he's just... No, he can go 3 chain links wide.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he can swing the dagger, right?
Yeah, he can swing the dagger. Then he sends Burning Blade Dance, and then he finishes off with a Lava Burst. I kind of think this is curtains for Colin Eriksen, unless he's got himself some good D-reacts. But you would think that he would have deployed it on that Oath of Loyalty already.
And if Travis wants to pay for it and sacrifice daggers for his next turn, he can just get his second dagger back after swinging the first one.
This is spooky. Not only that, swinging the first one, flicking it, and then buying them back.
Yep. So he's got 3 potential pings to work with.
That must be what Travis is thinking about. I really think this is the last turn of the game here, folks. Travis is just dotting his I's and crossing his T's here. There just can't be enough defensive capability in the hand of Colin Eriksen.
Yeah. He could be thinking about that all you got, going through the graveyard. That could be a card that could help Colin a lot in this spot, allowing him to block with 4 cards from hand and stay alive. But I think he's already played 2, if not 3. And there we see it.
This is why these blue line, I shouldn't say blue line, just like extra blue Cindra decks are so scary because these daggers come in every single turn. It's like Kadachi on steroids, ultimately. One go again here for Colin Eriksen, who has nothing left in the fridge. Valiant Dynamos has a -1 defense counter on it currently.
Man, he would have loved go again last turn.
He sure would have. That would have completely changed the topography of this game.
Yeah.
Right now, Colin says no blocks, which means that he is technically dead on board to Flick Knives.
True, but did you see what's in his hand?
I didn't. Is it a shelter?
The one that creates a quicken an agility token.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The one that's like Slap Happy.
Oh my goodness, this is so embarrassing right now. This was like
Fang player.
Well, honestly, I don't play that card
Fair enough.
in Fang, but yes, the prevention effect.
He has a prevention effect in hand.
But man, that is not where Colin wants to be. An entire card to shore up 1 damage and lethal.
Yeah. And you got to know that Travis knows that now. Like, why would he go to 1 if he doesn't have some way to stop the flick?
Which is hilarious because Travis was just in the tank thinking about this turn and probably did not expect this.
Yeah.
So Colin still has, even though it seems like he's on death's door, he's still got mind games to play against Travis Wagner.
He's got a good poker face.
He is a massive Lady Gaga fan as well, so he's got that going for him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
My mama poker face, my mom poker face.
If you could do that, then that would work perfectly, but you can't.
Love that tanking.
This is the superpower of
Take it
Colin
on the
Eriksen.
chin. Thank you to our producer, Justin.
We just do the basic turn.
Yeah, I think he's got to take it on the chin in his hand.
Go again, mark on hit.
Okay, it is hot on our heels. Following up, Colin has a 3-block here.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we should consume that.
Okay, we are recorrecting the board state. Colin Eriksen was marked, which means that Travis has an extra fealty token. I don't think 3 rather than 2 fealty tokens is going to be relevant here, but it is important to maintain a clean lava board state. It's
Colin's
Lava Burst
got
here.
2 cards in hand, so this flick knives
This one is prevent 2, right? Yep.
is not enough.
It
Or I mean, it is enough. I'm sorry. That take it on the chin is not enough.
Isn't this 5? Sorry.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, we are also correcting the damage that's coming in off Lava Burst. Colin saying, I'm not a dope.
Okay. In response.
Yeah, put it together, Travis. This is going to be it. The Flick Knives comes through, eats up the prevention effect, and then descends Colin Eriksen down to 0.
Yeah.
Which means that Cindra, Dracai of Retribution, reigns supreme against the Golden Sands.
Well played to Travis. Really back and forth game. That was a treat to watch.
It was, and honestly, I think Colin was in a very, very good spot until that critical turn where he drew Blade Flurry off of That All You Got.
Yeah, you know, I would almost argue that Colin didn't see things line up very well throughout the entire game. So the fact that he was in a good spot, that he kept life parity, it really even just came down to that top deck. And I would almost argue, in hindsight, that maybe it was a mistake not to bottom the card off the Fate Foreseen.
Honestly, I'm not sure if I saw that correctly.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that. We may not have seen it correctly. So if he did bottom the card, kudos. If he decided to keep that reaction, that could have been the game-ending mistake, and such a tiny one at that. But either way, super close game, really cool to watch, and well played by both players.
But you're absolutely right. I think Colin's deck did not really do him justice. I mean, when you're talking about like 12 copies of Go Again for your swords and a plethora of blues to boot, like the fact that he wasn't refreshing dynamos on all of those offensive turns is not indicative of how he plays Kassai at all.
Is he only on 12 copies of Go Again?
I'm sorry. It's probably more like 15 because we have... Oh, no. It's more like 18, actually, because we have Spoils of War, Unsheathed, 9 Blade Runners, 3 run-throughs, and something else I'm missing, Trot-alongs as well.
Right. Okay, so, but that number is so critical in making sure that you have the Go-Again pieces that you need when you need them. And in this game, they didn't seem to line up. There were multiple turns where Colin only swung one of his swords, and it looks like at the end, that little difference in value that he missed out on had he had the Go-Again and the extra block from his Valiant Dynamos really could have gotten him over the line. Didn't get there. And well played to Travis.
Redline Cindra carries the day. We will be back very shortly with an interview with our winner, Travis Wagner. Odyssey local, by the way, shout out. And he'll talk about exactly how he dismantled the Boy Wonder after this.
Welcome back, folks. I'm joined here with our winner of round 2, Travis Wagner, new dad. What do you want to start with, your tagline or the game?
I mean, yeah, I'm a new dad, just had a little baby girl.
That is
Just
awesome.
Beautiful, wonderful experience.
How many days, weeks ago was that?
She's a little over 2 weeks old now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It seems like all of our local players have been having kids. My brother Elliot, we've got our producer Justin, and of course Bryce with his 1-year-old. So really awesome stuff going on here outside the Fab community. Well, in the community, but outside of the game. But let's get back into the game. That was a really nice, grindy back and forth on both ends. Well, I guess you didn't do any blocking, but
No.
yeah. How did you feel about the game as it was progressing and the life totals were dwindling?
Yeah, I think with the matchup, I have honestly played like no Cindra, so don't take a lot of what I say with much grain of salt. That's what happens when you have a new baby. You don't play much Flesh and Blood, but
the one downside.
Yeah. So I hadn't played Colin on this deck before, but I played Colin a bunch before. I kind of know how the deck works, and with Cindra, I don't give him very many turns to kind of set up the things he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And when he wasn't fighting back too much, like he wasn't able to line up his big turns, he does start running out of time. And once he got down to not refreshing Dynamo, it felt like eventually I'll get there. I just have to keep pushing as much damage as I can.
Yeah, we were noticing a lack of go again on his turns, not really being able to piece together the double swing refresh that he so badly wants to do as part of his game plan. But of course, on the other side of the table, it looked like you played things really, really efficiently. Pretty much every turn. I will say that there was the turn where you popped a boot super early that we were like, we get it. You have to do that. But that was one part where we were a little bit worried that was going to be a stumble for you, but it turned out not to be too painful. How did you feel when you were popping those boots?
Yeah, I mean, if I was to play it again, of course, I would just block with them before that.
Oh,
so you get the one life.
Yeah.
There was, I think, no way I was going to get out of that turn without trying to pop boots because I don't have... if I'm stumbling at the same time, I'm just letting him set up. So I have to keep the pressure on. And it wasn't a bad turn to pop boots. And I don't think there were a lot of times where I could have used them. I know there was the one time when I had,
like the double, triple snatch thing
I
going
ended
on.
up with 2 cards in hand off of the Mass Draw and stuff. That it would have been nice to have another boots.
Fair. I will also say that one of the things that we noticed was a lack of blues in your list. And I know that there's been kind of a shift for the Cindra decks in the meta to kind of go a little more blue heavy. Can you talk to us a little bit about your choice to bring this list? Is that a lack of time to prepare, or is that a choice that you made?
Yeah, so basically I was trying to decide between a blue line and a red line list, and what I brought today is the red line. Although you did see me pitch 2 blue cards.
Right.
They were
the
not
Warmongers is the one blue I think that you're running.
Yeah. They were not included for me to actually pitch them. I was supposed to play them and disrupt him. But since he wasn't, setting up big turns, it never really found a line. And by then, the 1 dagger damage was kind of just good enough to throw. Basically, I was looking at the blue list, and it's kind of preferring that since it's similar to what I had played before, which was Phi. I like the Lynx lines, the Tenacity, the Salt of Wounds and stuff. But then I realized I don't have Throw Dagger, and it's $20 now, and I can't get it in time because I started prepping 2 days ago.
Okay,
so
got it.
I was okay, I guess red line it is.
Sure, sometimes we just have to work with what we've got, and you kind of showing that even if you don't have every single card you need, you've got enough to get over the line, even against one of the best Kassai players that I know, maybe possibly in the world, but of course I don't know all the Kassai players in the world, so he's a great player to beat.
I was really excited because it can be, I think, a tough matchup is what I've heard. I've never played it. So
well, even though he didn't get the go again that he needed, it was very close. So it seemed like if things had fallen a little bit more in his favor, it could have been a difficult thing for you to get through just because he's got so much good blocking and you relying on that Mask of Momentum to gain your value. Sometimes it just doesn't piece together.
Yeah, I think when I saw him draw off the copper, I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
he's in trouble.
That's a good sign.
You never want to do that because that's for their combo turn, and it's so expensive. So I felt like that was kind of the moment where I was like, okay, just keep pressing the damage.
Cool. Well, we've got 4 more rounds to go. How are you feeling for the rest of the day?
Pretty good. I'm already happy.
Awesome. 2-0 is a great start.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Any other thoughts that you want to share with the world before we end our interview?
Oh, I just want to say hi to all of my parents and my wife's grandparents. They're all out there with the baby, keeping her happy while I'm gone.
Are they watching you right now?
They might be, yeah.
Cool.
I've heard that they've been checking it out. So
very cool, very cool. Well, thanks to all our viewers at home, especially his family and the people watching his new baby daughter. Congratulations once again. And thank you for joining me here in the booth. For all of you at home, we will be back shortly with round 3, so don't go anywhere.